Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers went into Atlanta and beat my Atlanta Falcons, as you can see here. They now get to fly to Kansas City to take on Patrick Mahomes and their rivals, the Chiefs. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we're going to break down this Week 14 matchup between the Los Angeles Chargers and Kansas City Chiefs. But before we do that, we do have a goal of getting to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, leave a like and a comment. Let us know who you think will win this game and why. Ryan, the Chargers came into Atlanta and were given a win by my Atlanta Falcons here. I thought they played well in the first half, but defensively, though, Chargers just absolutely outsmarted and played really well against my Atlanta Falcons today, and baited Kirk Cousins into a lot of amateur-esque throws here. So they're going to be going up against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs here, who they looked amateurish, I would say, on Black Friday against the Las Vegas Raiders. Had to be helped out a little bit by, well, however you want to call it. At minimum, got helped out by just a botch snap. Then miscommunication seemed like by the Raiders' offensive line. So going into this matchup here, definitely have some concerns for the Chiefs overall. I feel like offensively they're just going through. You know what this kind of reminds me of a little bit, and I'm not going to say the Chiefs are going to have a fall off like how the Eagles did last year. Remember how the Eagles offense just all of a sudden just stalled out and they just couldn't move the ball. Eagles had all their had all their stars healthy at the time. Unlike the Chiefs, they have been injury riddled when it comes to their position players. But Chiefs offense is just struggling to, I think, consistently keep providing that pressure on defenses. Do you see it the same way, or do you see it a little bit differently?
I felt like this offense has struggled mightily throughout the whole season. I've kind of been saying that really since like weeks 2 and 3, I think, where they've really had to lean on this defense to be great. And actually now I have more questions about the defense just because of the last few performances. And granted, like the Panthers look like they've really developed, but you let Aiden O'Connell and this Raiders offense come in there, and I get Brock Bowers is like probably the next big tight end name in the league. But like put up 17 points on you, and then they were driving on you to go and win with a game-winning field goal, and you just got lucky that they had a miscommunication, a botched snap, and then, in my opinion, a referee blunder because the referee called the play dead. At the top, like you can see him come in at the top of the screen. So
yeah, and he's calling the false start.
Yeah. And so like it's happened like 4 or 5 times this year. Like, and I know this happened in your Falcons game too, where it was a pass interference in the end zone on Kyle Pitts. Then there's net like this one, and so the Chiefs are, I don't want to say they're like lucking into 11-1, but you do see the memes like all over Twitter of just like how the Chiefs actually got to 11-1, and it's like all other teams making mistakes, and this this team is just able to capitalize on that.
Well, and that's right. It's not even so much more the ref stuff that I'm talking about, because that's up for debate. But to me, though, it's more how they keep putting themselves in that position against teams that they should be significantly better.
That's more what I'm trying to say, other than the ref stuff, because it's not.
It's very easy. It's very easy to put it on a ref. Yeah. Is the call controversial? Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm more talking about everything to lead up to that point. Like how do they allow themselves? And admittedly, then also too, the thing that concerns me more: how do they let this Las Vegas Raiders rushing offense run for 116 yards? This rushing offense for the Raiders has only happened 1, 2, 3, 4 times this entire year through 13 games, and one of which was against this Kansas City team. And so that's what is. It was just very poor performance overall, but it seems pretty consistently though where it's coming down to the final seconds, and the Chiefs are just able to squeak it out. And they're going to be going up against a Chargers team that they barely beat earlier on in the season by 7 points. And that was before the Chargers team became kind of what they are right now, where they still have a stout defense overall, a lot of great play by some rookie corners and good defensive pressure from the defensive line. But Ladd McConkey's really started to develop. Josh Palmer's is a solid veteran, I would say. Quentin Johnson has his moments, but can be deadly effective. Chargers, they did put J.K. Dobbins down on IR, so that is kind of a loss. They missed him today.
I'm glad you finished that with on IR.
Huh?
I'm glad you finished that with on IR.
I had to go back and see how I said it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, you said that they put J.K. Dobbins down on IR, and I
oh,
was like,
oh
you
yeah.
paused there, and I was like,
Well, he's obviously not a
yeah,
dog. He is a dog though. When you give him the ball, man, he's a dog in the trenches. But
yeah,
I digress. But this Chargers team though as well, who missed him today, only rushed for 56 yards against my Atlanta Falcons defensive line, which is shocking to say the least. But this is a team though that has improved overall on the offensive side of the ball, that has improved in the passing game significantly. Their numbers, their overall season numbers, aren't anything to uh, to really be too excited about. Like they're 23rd overall in total yards per game, 24th in passing, 18th in rushing. But a lot of that, though, if you go look at their early season stats, were very poor, especially in the passing department. But in the past couple of games outside of this one, they've improved. They've improved significantly overall. So there is some effectiveness for this team. And defensively, I think they're going to be able to stymie the Chiefs on a pretty consistent basis, just like how a lot of teams have done over the past couple of weeks.
yeah, and that to me, I think, is going to be the key here. Is can they force Patrick Mahomes into a few more turnovers, because he has been, especially this season, more turnover prone, and so can they force those turnovers and then capitalize on those opportunities on the offensive side of the ball. And that's to me, for me, I think the magic number is 24 points for the Chargers here. I think if they can get to 24 points, I don't really see a way that this Chiefs team can put up more than that against a pretty solid defense here. They're well coached. They don't really beat themselves all that often. And as you saw today, like, they're very opportunistic. So I think this is going to be a really, really good matchup here. I'm excited to see this one on Sunday Night Football, and yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's get into predictions here. Tyler, I'm going to throw this one over to you. You are leading our season-long competition, so I'm going to just start making you pick first in all of these, so I can debate whether I want to disagree with you or not. So, Tyler, who do you have coming out ahead in this matchup?
So I did have this pick before because I just saw your pick, and I was going to do this before, but I'm actually going to go with the Chargers.
Okay.
On this one here. They have been playing well. They did have the best offensive performance today against my Falcons, but defensive line improved significantly. But the Falcons have all this entire season has had a really good secondary, probably one of the better ones in the league. So they've been able to stymie them a little bit. If you go back and watch, because these teams played in week 4, and that was the game where Rashee Rice got hurt, and it was very early on in the game. So essentially, it has been kind of the same team essentially offensively from that game on. They've been able to game plan a little bit more, but or come up with a little bit different schemes and systems. But I think the Chargers match up well against this Chiefs team. They have a very stout defense, and they're able to match up against a lot of their weapons. It honestly, well, I'm going to say this. The Chiefs have Xavier Worthy, who's much more explosive than anybody else on our team. Now, we have Bijan Robinson, which I think is going to be a better back than what the Chiefs have. And Isaiah Pacheco is back for this game, who he wasn't in the earlier game. But I think this defense is going to be able to slow down this Chiefs offense significantly. And Justin Herbert and this Chargers offense has improved well. The key is going to be, can this offensive line protect Justin Herbert? And then too, on top of that, then can Ladd McConkey keep stepping up? He had over 100 receiving yards today. And Quentin Johnson, Josh Palmer, and all the other receiving core go in and step up as well and win their matchups. That's going to be huge. I think they'll do it. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I'm going to say 17-13 Chargers.
Okay. Yeah, I know I bashed KC a little bit, and I talked about a lot of their concerns in this video, but for me, I look at the Chargers, and I think the Chargers are a playoff team. They're not necessarily a Super Bowl team. I think if you go and you put the Chiefs against some other, like, the Super Bowl caliber teams, I think if they play the Bills in January, I really even think if they play the Ravens in January, I know the Ravens lost to the Eagles today, but then you go look at the other teams in the NFC. You go look the Eagles, at the Lions, the Packers. I think all of those teams would just be way more physical and dominant than this Chiefs team is right now. And I get it's hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes in those January games, but I really do think, like, this Chiefs team is, I think, in for a little bit of a rude awakening come the playoffs. Because I'm going to say all this and I'm going to pick them, but like, they've barely squeaked by against a lot of these like mediocre to like poor teams. Like I still put Carolina in that category, even though they've played better. They should have lost to Denver off of that crazy blocked field goal. They won a coin flip over Tampa Bay, who's a 500 team, and then went down and scored a touchdown in overtime and then didn't give them the ball back. They only beat Las Vegas by 7 the first time. The only win that I would like give them a lot of credit for is San Francisco, and that was like they were just the more physical team that day, and so like they've been able to just barely beat a lot of these teams, and I think that continues this week. But for the long term, I have a lot of concerns about Kansas City as a true Super Bowl contender right now.
Yeah, now it's all about winning the game, and so
and I agree.
I'm all like if you win, doesn't really matter how you win. So like when they win their 3rd Super Bowl in a row, we'll all be like this. We're just being honest with our concerns. But to your point, though, they haven't really had a true blowout loss, I would say, since before their bye, the Saints game. Even that San Francisco game, it was 14-12 going into the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
Scored pretty quickly going up 21-12. But still relatively close kind of throughout that game. And so I absolutely see what you're saying. It is still Patrick Mahomes. It is still the Chiefs. But I think this is going to be something similar with the Bills game. I feel like this game's just going to be kind of due. I feel like they haven't lost at home yet this season. I feel like this is going to be the game where they lose at home.
Yeah. So we disagree. Two games into week 14, 2 disagreements. So I'm taking the Chiefs. You're taking the Chargers. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. It is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, go ahead and leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead. Will it be the Los Angeles Chargers? Will it be the Kansas City Chiefs? Other than that, we'll see you guys next time.